Yeah, man, this is Geomar, and this is CVM tapping. Bang!
You think you could have get in on my feelings? You could have get me if you cycle down. Hey, Miggy, I hit and run. Miggy, I hit and run. Hey, it's a girl Shensia representing for CVMTV. See tapping. Oh.
Good evening. Tonight, Jamaica is experiencing a chilly start to February, a rare mix of calm and contradiction. A cold front is moving across the island, bringing cooler temperatures and strong winds. We'll break down what that means for the next few days. Even as the country records its lowest January murder toll in 25 years, however, Manchester has been shaken by a burst of extreme violence. 4 people killed in less than 24 hours. We'll speak directly with the head of the Manchester Police Division. Also tonight, a long-advocated policy shift at the Bustamante Hospital for Children, as some parents are now being allowed to stay overnight with their hospitalized children. What has changed and what has not? And finally, Jamaica Customs moves to strengthen border security with expanded scanning of bags and packages. Well, with all this going on, what does that mean for travelers and trade? This is Lead Story. It's a chilly start to February. A cold front is currently affecting Jamaica, bringing noticeably cooler temperatures and strong winds across the island. For many, it feels unusual, and for some people, potentially disruptive. To help us figure out just what exactly is going on, we're joined by meteorologist Javoy Sawyers. Hi, Javoy. Welcome to Lead Story.
Hi, good evening.
Javoy, oh my gosh, everybody wants to ask you questions all over the place. Help us understand what is going on. We've been told we have a cold front currently underway. Ground us in the science, because what exactly is driving this cold front, and how typical or atypical is it for Jamaica this time of the year?
So the cold front actually has passed the island. The cold front is the boundary between the mass of cold air from the north and our warm tropical air in the Caribbean. That boundary itself has passed to the east of the island, is now stationary across the central Caribbean. So behind the cold front, we have this large mass of cold air that has come down from the US, particularly from Canada actually, which speaks to how cold the air mass is and how atypical it is for a cold front of this nature across our area. We've had cold fronts several times before, several times per year actually, but this cold front is of note because of the vast temperature difference of the cold air mass that has come down from Canada into our area.
Javoy, you're talking about this cold air, but for many Jamaicans, they watched the massive cold in the United States and massive cold in Canada. And we talked about that impact on Jamaicans living in these two areas. But
Right.
the cold, you said, is coming. But the most noticeable impact for many people has been the wind with this cold. How strong are these gusts, and which areas of the island should be exercising the greatest caution when it comes to this change?
We've had gusts up to gale force. That's about 15 miles per hour in some places, and even higher in some places in the hilly interior areas of the northeastern parishes, particularly because of the wind that squeezes through the gaps in the hills and the mountains, and that causes the wind speed to speed up. We've been hearing reports of downed trees, affected power lines, branches, expecting this to continue throughout tonight. The wind itself, like I said, we've had cold fronts, but the wind itself is pertaining to the vast temperature difference from the north and the south. So we have the cold air mass from the south, or from the north, interacting with the warm air mass in the south. So we have that wind speed that picks up because of this temperature gradient.
Javoy, let me give you a snapshot of the actual temperatures though. Kingston, 22 degrees Celsius. Montego Bay, 20 degrees Celsius. And for the next 72 hours, we still should be feeling these windy and cool conditions, but they should, we've been told, improved. Help us understand why exactly we're dropping so low that Kingston is looking at temperatures in the daytime that are cooler than my air conditioning unit now. What are people then? what are people supposed to be doing with temperatures like these, Javoy?
So these temperatures are actually the highs for today. The temperature got down to about...
The highs for the day are generally 33, 34, Javoy.
Exactly.
What do you mean 22 in Kingston, 20 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay?
Temperatures fell to about 16 degrees overnight in Mobay, and 15 in some places in Kingston. This is because of the wind coming from the north. So anything coming from the north is colder than anything in the south. So that wind from the north brings down cooler conditions, cold air mass into our area. And also with behind the cold front, the air is dry, right? So dry air holds less moisture than moist air. And also dry air has potential to become colder than warm air, because moist air molecules are closer together, so you can have more warming in that air mass. However, when the air is dry, it tends to drop temperature really rapidly and hold that low temperature throughout time.
People are bundling up. People are complaining. Some people it's too cold, Javoy. Others are saying, Lord, give me more of this kind of weather. But looking ahead now, what should people expect? When should they expect conditions to ease? And when we say improving, what does that actually mean in practical terms for daily life?
So since the air mass is now over the island, expect it to gradually warm as it is in the the tropical environment. So expecting warmer temperatures to begin gradually affecting the island tomorrow, getting up to about 24, 25 degrees, still cool, but it is January, well, February, we're still in winter period. So expecting the highs to creep up a little bit through to Thursday. And then another cold front will impact our area with showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, particularly across most parishes. And then for Friday, Saturday, we're going to be behind that cold front again, a different cold front. And the air will be coming from the north again. So expecting slightly cooler conditions, nothing like now. However, still cooler conditions to persist across our area for a few days.
All right, so cold front number 1 right now. Then we pass that. Cold front number 2 later this week. Less wind, more rain now.
Right. So
and then cold front number 3 next week.
Well, I'm not seeing that so far in the modeling, but I'm not expecting conditions like this for the other cold front coming during the weekend. Expecting showers and cooler conditions, but nothing like this.
I have been loving these temperatures. Other people have not been loving these temperatures, especially marine or aviation persons. Are there any marine or aviation advisories that Jamaicans should be taking seriously over the next, let's say for this cold front number 1, 48 to 72 hours?
Well, I expect the sea conditions to gradually improve. However, for now, it is still choppy, especially across northern coastal areas, inshore and offshore areas. That wind is coming from the north, so expecting the wave to be pushing in from the north across our coastal areas. Some may notice the seas along the bottom road in Mobay splashing up onto the road surfaces. So roadways that are closer to the coast are particularly at risk of these minor flooding and splashes from the sea. However, fishers and other marine interests should take caution, as the seas will be continuously rough throughout this evening, tonight, into tomorrow.
For many people, they're putting on jackets, they're putting on, there are pictures, people having a wild time to avoid. There are people rendering images of of snow in half a tree. They're rendering pictures and images of reindeer in the middle of half a tree. That is them being dramatic about how cold and how cool it is here in Kingston. Mandible, you see on the screen, people there being dramatic about it snowing here in Jamaica. And then we have meteorological forecasts showing us what it is that we're dealing with. But for many people, as they're dealing with this, they're also dealing with sinuses or allergies that have now been impacted because we have now seen all this wind kicking up everything that's there. Are people expected to have respiratory illness issues during this time as they now deal with this cold front passing and the potential second one later this week?
The risk of respiratory illnesses is high, especially with the drier air that we're experiencing. Persons may experience their nostrils drying out during the nighttime hours. So we can urge them to, take the necessary medication, Claritin, the allergy medicines. Also, if you wake up in the night and you're experiencing some kind of drying out of your cavities, nasal cavities, you can warm some water and put your finger in your nose just to keep the nasal passages dry. You can use the warm inhales that you put a bowl of warm water and inhale just to keep your nasal passages moist as we get to the
So a humidifier, effectively.
That is it. Yes.
Well, there you go. We'll have some temperatures here that we can share. Mandible is supposed to be really cold. You said it goes down to 16. Some places will be feeling 14 degrees Celsius later on this evening, and they have been feeling that over the past few days. But Javoy, put this in context for us. Does this event, this cooler January into February, fit into a broader pattern of increasing weather volatility for Jamaica, or is this just a short-term anomaly and that's how we should really see it?
Well, not only Jamaica, it's a worldwide event that we're seeing more extreme weather. And with global warming, it's not just about warming, it's about weather swings through extremes, warming and cooling. So warmer summers and colder and more extreme winters is a factor of this global warming and climate change anomalies.
See, that's why climate change is perhaps more appropriate, because the warming isn't happening in some parts of the world. It's the cooling that we're taking a look at, especially as we have seen incredibly cold air coming from Canada and the United States impacting us in Jamaica. There were some pictures I saw that said Alaska was warmer than Florida yesterday, and so we're definitely seeing that push down of cooler air to us. Meteorologist Javoy Sawyers, you spent time with us explaining what's going on as people bundle up for cold front number 1, and you're telling them to prepare later this week for cold front number 2. Thanks so much for joining us, Javoy.
You're welcome.
That's Javoy Sawyers talking to us there about what's going on in the country as we bundle up to deal with this cold front. Now, we're going to take a break and come back to you, because up next, distressing news. Even after the amazing fall off in murders in January, here's what's been going on. 4 murders in cool, quiet Manchester over the past 24 hours. We'll speak about that next here inside Lead Story.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction, 'cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people them I say we are my show tonight. Oh, what a feeling, don't stop.
Thanks so much for staying with us inside Lead Story. Jamaica recorded just 33 murders in January. I know you're hearing just 33, but it's the lowest January total in 25 years and the lowest monthly figure since systematic recording began in 2001. It's amazing. 33 murders in a month is still more than zero, but Jamaica is seeing a dramatic decrease in the number of murders that we are seeing. The police position is that January recorded a 55% reduction in murders versus January 25, that's January last year, that had 74. That shows that 33 that we see this year means that 41 lives were saved. Yes, 55% reduction. So we are looking then at a significant and dramatic increase. But that national context collides with a harsh local reality in Manchester. The small picture there is that 4 people were killed in 3 incidents in less than 24 hours. That's horrific. Joining us now is Kerry Duncan, Superintendent and Head of the Manchester Police Division. Superintendent Duncan, thanks so much for joining us inside Lead Story.
Good evening, madam. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being with us inside Lead Story. Superintendent Duncan, what can you responsibly confirm at this stage about what the police are dealing with in Manchester?
Right, so we have a very unfortunate incident that occurred between January 31st and February 1st, where we had 3 incidents that resulted in 4 deaths within the parish. This is very unusual for us, as up to that time, since 2026, as a matter of fact, since late December of 2025, we had not recorded a single murder in the division. So this certainly was a very unfortunate situation.
Unfortunate and jarring as well for very quiet Manchester. Police have identified 2 men they want to question. Without prejudicing the investigations, what message do you want to send these individuals and anyone with information to hear tonight?
Right, what I just want to say is that what we recognize is that within these spaces, we have some little puppets who continue to be influenced by persons who are outside of our jurisdiction, settling easily in their own enclaves overseas. And I just want to say to them that what you're doing in our parish, our country, is destroying our peace and tranquility to the whims of those you want to impress from overseas. So yes, we have put out for 2 persons to come in because we believe that they can assist us in our investigation. So we're awaiting those persons to come in. We have a very, very good idea of what transpired and what is going on. So we are confident that certainly in very short order, we will make a breakthrough in these investigations.
I think it's so important that people hear your confidence in this, Superintendent Duncan, but nationally, the picture is amazing for many Jamaicans. The murder numbers are down sharply. But communities in Manchester are understandably shaken by what's going on there. This change now that has had a quiet end to 2025, but now this horrific start to the month of February in 2026. How do you explain that contrast to residents who are right now feeling afraid?
And I agree that persons will be a little bit apprehensive at this time. But I just want to say to them that what we saw happening was confined to a certain section of the parish. So the Greater Manchester is not experiencing that which you saw in those incidents. And whilst we always say that we want persons to find amicable way to settle their disputes rather than to turn to violence, but just to say that general Manchester is in fact a very peaceful and tranquil place at this time. Last year, we recorded significantly low numbers as it relates to murders over 2024. And this year, I am confident that we'll be doing better than last year.
Are you able to tell us the locations that these 3 incidents which led to the deaths of 4 people took place in the parish of Manchester?
Oh, sure. The first incident occurred over in a district called New Hall. That's over closer to the south of the parish. Then we had a double murder in New England, which is some 4 miles away from the first incident. And then we had another incident over in Ellen Street, which is also about another 4 miles from where that incident took place. So the confines of those incidents were to a particular section of the parish. So the general Manchester has nothing to be concerned about really at this time. And over where we had those incidents, our operational tempo has been up in those areas. As a matter of fact, we have been doing our proximity policing in that space. So over there, we'll be seeing over the influx of police officers from our specialized operations, SWAT units, as also our own local units, just to ensure that we do not have a flare-up over there.
Superintendent Duncan, from an operational standpoint then, given how close these incidents are they being treated as isolated events unless proven otherwise, or is there a connected risk while investigations continue?
Right. So based on where we are looking right now, I would not want to say what we are looking at in any detailed way, but we just to say that we have a very good understanding of what is happening over there, and we know exactly what to do to cauterize what is happening over there.
You spoke about proximity policing a moment ago, saying that that's what you're putting in place. What other immediate policing measures have you been able to put in place to stabilize the situation, but also to reassure law-abiding residents that they are in fact okay at this time?
Well, certainly we have a curfew imposed in that section that will limit the movements of persons within the space. And with that, even with that, we still have our intelligence apparatus that is high on the agenda. So that's something that we're looking at to ensure that we get the right people for the right things over there. So our intel is up in those spaces. So we will certainly be doing some strategic and deliberate operations over in that space to ensure that we have the right people.
Strategic and determined operations are what you said that you'll be putting in place. But for many Jamaicans, they're watching what's going on in Manchester. They're seeing the national decline in murders. And I'll put up that figure there again. National crime data shows that January 2026 had us end with 33 murders, giving us the lowest January in 25 years and the lowest figure that we've seen recorded since 2020 or 2001. And then the crime statistics compared to last year, we're at 33 crimes this year, murders, while 74 for last year. For people who are watching from Manchester, given that you've spoken of these 3 particular areas, what reassurance can you give them tonight that as these investigations proceed, that the police still have their eyes on them and their communities?
Well, the reassurance is that we are and we have been out in our numbers, not just since this incident, but certainly this incident has caused us to be a little more up in our operational output, but particularly in that space. If it is that you are operating in the greater Mandeville space, you certainly will see that we have been improving on our operational output. So the parish in general, as I said, is a safe place to be. It is safer than it was last year and the year before, and I am confident that we won't be deterred by this isolated incident. Certainly, we have the know-how, we have the wherewithal to cauterize this, and certainly we won't see any further decline in our murder statistics in Manchester. So I'm just saying to the general public, nothing to be afraid of. Certainly, we certainly will bring this under control.
It's so important that you've spoken about that, but are you getting community support? Are you getting people in these communities and in surrounding communities also assisting the police?
Well, I'll say to you that the support from our communities have been awesome. Other than the perpetrators of this barbaric act, I don't believe that there's even one person in these communities that condone it. And certainly the support from the communities have been phenomenal. And I just want to say to our communities, continue to partner with us while we continue to serve you to have a better Manchester going forward.
You've asked for information and you've asked for these men to come to you. You've said that you still are waiting the two men that you've indicated. Do you want to repeat the names of these two men who you're asking to come to the police?
So the first one is CJ Wilson. He is of an Old England address. And Orion Nelson, otherwise called Prince, and he is of a Mayday address. We are respectfully asking that they turn themselves into us. There are some questions that we need to ask them. It is very important to our investigation, and we believe that they can be of great help to us.
If the public knows anything about this, how can they safely and confidentially let the police know what they might know, what they might have seen, in order to assist you in this investigation, or these investigations, since there were 3 incidents with 4 people now dead?
Well, I'll say the information that
Superintendent Duncan? Unfortunately, it seems that something has happened with Superintendent Duncan as he's speaking to us there, talking about the individuals that have now been killed in the parish of Manchester and the individuals that they'd like to come and see then. Superintendent Duncan, back with us? Perfect. Nope. Superintendent Duncan is frozen there as he speaks to us about what is going on there in Manchester. But it's important for us to understand this big picture that we're dealing with. Crime figures in Jamaica showing that 33 people, down from 74 last year, have been killed. Still not zero, but we're still at a place where we're seeing a reduction in crime. But that horror there that has happened in Manchester will still be on our minds. Superintendent Kerry Duncan, thanks so much for joining us. We'll take a break and to come back to you because there's a movement now going on inside the country. Parents have been advocating for it, and the babies could talk, they'd be advocating too. The Bustamante Hospital for Children now has put in place their parent overnight policy. We'll talk about that with Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, next inside Lead Story.
Delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
the internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVMTV.
So much more than entertainment.
After years of advocacy from parents, and if the babies could advocate, they would have joined their voices into this as well. The Bustamante Hospital for Children has now changed its policy, allowing some parents to stay overnight with their hospitalized children. But the change comes with conditions. Joining us to talk about this is Dr. Christopher Tufton, Minister of Health and Wellness. He's on phone with us at this time. Minister, thanks so much for joining us inside Lead Story.
Thank you very much for having me. Good to be here.
Minister, there are many people who are excited by the change. What they've heard of it, at least. What exactly has happened and what has changed in policy at the Bustamante Hospital, and what prompted this shift now?
Well, first of all, there are two issues. The first one is that we have launched a pilot project called the Caregivers Pilot Program, which allows a family member or guardian under certain conditions to be able to stay with their loved ones, the youngsters, in hospital up to 10 p.m. And of course, under the guidance and protocol that is established, which is aimed at giving psychosocial support to the youngsters recovering, as well as other tangible things, comb their hair, feed them, clean them, all, of course, under that guidance of the clinician to ensure confidentiality and to ensure that the safety and well-being of both the family member and the child. But beyond that, last week, Friday, the Prime Minister and myself and others opened the 36-bed overnight suite at Bustamante. This is a facility that allows family members from out of town who are there on a short-term basis to give support to their loved ones to be able to have a space in a facility where they can have some rest, sleep, spend the night, kitchenette to prepare meals, a lounge area, to essentially make them comfortable. So those two developments combined will make it a lot easier and more comfortable, both for the family member and for the child. Why now? Well, the truth is it should have been done long ago. It is part of modernizing our healthcare facilities, including the family member in the healing process, certainly at Bustamante and hopefully over time elsewhere. And it's proven to be extremely therapeutic. So it's really part of giving support for healing and recuperation.
This is so important for many parents hearing this right now. They're listening to you and they're saying, yes, we have this new thing in place. But you said the cutoff time would be 10 o'clock. What's the current cutoff time?
So right now, they're about a couple of hours per day. Sometime during the day, I don't remember exactly what the hours are, but they're very limited. Maybe 2 hours between, I think, 10 and 12 or something like that. So the extension and what we're allowing now is significantly more than what used to be the case.
All right. The current eligibility, though, as we are aware of it, focuses on out-of-town parents, and that's what you've spoken about with those 36 beds, and children with critical diagnoses. Help us understand. How is critical defined, and who makes that determination as to whether your mommy, daddy, or some other adult who takes care of you as your guardian can stay at the hospital and look after you?
Well, you have to make a distinction between both situations. The care for the bedside care is not restricted to out-of-towners alone. It's to anyone who has a loved one in the hospital as part of the pilot, as defined by the pilot. So it's not restricted. The overnight suite, which is a separate thing but does support the same approach, is for persons who otherwise cannot go back home because they'll come from Hanover or St. Thomas.
So when the 10 o'clock ends, they can't just go home and come back.
Exactly. So the overnight suite is really giving support to persons who would have to overnight and would have had to make some private arrangements or may not have anywhere to overnight. And the idea is to give them an opportunity to have the peace of mind that they're close to their loved ones and that they can give support to their loved ones as they heal.
Some parents are looking at this, they're hearing this. They initially heard you can stay with your babies. Now they're hearing the more organized plan that is coming out of the Bustamante Hospital for Children. They welcome the change, but they might worry the criteria are too narrow. Is this a pilot phase that you're hoping to expand, or is this the final policy position? This is 10 o'clock. You need to come out to the doctor's way so they can continue to do work, but you can stay there with your loved one, your teeny tiny loved one, with this expanded hour policy.
Well, the overnight suite is obviously permanent. It's a structure that has been built over I think it's maybe $150 million. So it's like a hotel, motel, if you want to call it, at a guest house, but only for certain people who have their loved ones there. Beds, bathrooms, kitchen, lounge, all of the above under certain conditions. They must subscribe to the rules. There are some obvious things they can't do. It's not a party location. It's not a place to loiter. It's not a place to make noise. And I could go on and on. It's really a place to rest and to keep close to the loved ones and be able to have access to them based on the rules of visitation. The restrictions on visitations, as outlined in a protocol, are important because for starters, you don't want a parent assuming a doctor's role or a nurse's role. They're not allowed to administer medication. They're not allowed to, try to adjust drip and other devices that may be hooked up to the child. They're not allowed to play doctor. They are allowed to sit, to be there, to comfort, and if the nurse or doctor so advise, they can feed. Their diet may be special, so they should be guided on that. They can, clean up or, tidy the child or comb the hair, but just be there. The physical visibility and touch does help the healing process, and that has been proven, the mental health, the mental state of the child. And those are all important, but clearly it requires some rules of engagement, because you're in a hospital setting, there's infection prevention and control issues, and of course the regime of medication has to be administered by the doctor, supported by the nurse.
All right. Having that said, then with the $140 million, $150 million investment in those 36 beds, that's a lot of public money. What would be required practically and financially for us to say, all right, take the rest of this money and make it even bigger, move it to even 100? Is that possible at this time? And what would we need to do to make that so?
Well, as of now, we don't think that it's necessary to add more, not at this point in time. What is there, we think, is a great start. I mean, before that, I think there was a small 2-bed facility. Now we have 36. It means a lot more persons can stay. And we will see how that goes in the years to come. As for the visitation pilot, the intention is to mainstream that as policy. One of the reasons why we decided to go with a pilot as opposed to just starting as a permanent arrangement, because we need to iron out the kinks in the system. There's a lot associated with staying with your loved one, bathroom facilities, kind of just getting the rules and the culture of people understanding what is required of them, what they need to do to comply. So it's important, I think, to go through a phase, manage that phase, observe what is the do's and don'ts, and what adjustments, if anything, are to be made to fix it and to make sure that it is ingrained in the culture of the institution.
I think that's so important for people to hear as well. But the Bustamante Hospital for Children deals with teeny tiny children, and the doctors there are dealing with teeny tiny immune systems, and they're dealing with all this all at the same time. You did speak about infection control, but how are concerns such as infection control, privacy, and staff workload being managed under this new arrangement? Because parents being there will mean that staff will also have to be on the spot responding to their questions as well.
Yes, of course. The staff are very important to this. They have to also adjust to having the parent or guardian around. They have to make way for them. They have to support them. They have to oversee the process. The nurses in particular, who are the constant feature of the institution. But the truth is that if it's done well, it takes a lot of the work off them, because instead of them tending to every requirement of the patient, they can in fact depend on that guardian to support them in some basic ways. As I've said, the cleaning up, the being there, if the patient may be crying, they're youngsters and they may need someone just to comfort them. All of those things are very important part of the recovery process and could be part of the support system. So from that standpoint, the staff can also benefit in a significant way.
From the parents being there on the ground?
Sorry?
From the parents being there on the ground as well with their youngsters?
Yes, for sure. The staff basically should see the family member, the parent, the guardian, as part of the support system, both for the child or the patient, but also for what is required of that staff member, just to pay attention and to be there for every request, even those that, on the face of it, a non-clinician could perform.
The hospital has those 36 suites that are currently available, moving from what you identified earlier as a 2-bed solution that had been there previously. But the Bustamante Hospital for Children sees thousands of patients annually. Some might argue tens of thousands of patients annually. Do you see a time where you are now seeing demand outstrip capacity, especially, as you said, it's for those who are not in proximity to the hospital, but further afield? There are more parishes further out from Bustamante Hospital than there are closer.
Well, those are things that we have to look at for the future. I mean, we are developing additional capacity. The Western Child and Adolescent Hospital in Montego Bay is a 0 to 18-year-old. Bustamante is a 0 to 12 years old. But the fact is, that is a 250-bed facility that will come with significant support for patients. So a child who may need at this point to go to Bustamante for specialist care could actually go to Western Child when it opens later on this year. So, and then there are build-outs taking place, Spanish Town, Bernard Lodge, and other places over the next couple of years. So we're definitely adding capacity, and depends on how the hub and spoke system works. Even with that added capacity, if there's a need to expand Bustamante, I'm sure that will be part of the plan going forward.
How far out from Kingston do you need to live to be able to have access to the beds, Minister?
I don't think, I don't
Minister,
really
the people have to know. The people are going to ask me. I have to make sure I ask you.
I didn't really ask that question, but I suspect they will consider case by case. You may have someone who lives out in Portmore, but the nature of the illness of the child may require them to be there, and they can't afford otherwise to travel, and they will accommodate them. So there's an administrator who will determine some of that, but I'm sure they'll be flexible.
Help me understand. You spoke about other hospitals, other places that will be dealing with our youngsters, at least under 18. Do you see this model being expanded across other pediatric or specialist facilities, particularly for these rural families? Yeah?
I do. I see that expanding, but I also see the whole guardian and supporting patient also as a potential for across the board. So Bustamante is pioneering right now. They're laying the groundwork for the possibility of the future, and I do see it happening elsewhere also.
I think that's so important. You say, I like how you say over time. Well, we'll watch over time as this new thing has happened. The Bustamante Hospital for Children now changing its hours, allowing for parents to stay a little longer and allowing for 36 beds that can now accommodate those parents who are coming from further outside of the country to stay with their young ones. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, thanks so much for joining us inside Lead Story.
Thank you very much.
was
Okay, all the
important for
best.
us to
Bye-bye.
highlight this, and we'll continue to do that. Up next, we're talking about customs and your packages, your bags, your suitcases, everything. We'll talk about that inside Lead Story.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music is a play, and the people them I say we are my show tonight. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't fit it down, shine your lights on. And then I fly again like a jet plane.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
Talking about what has now happened at Jamaica Customs, because they've now introduced expanded scanning of baggage and air cargo, even before the items reach the baggage claim area. The move comes as authorities respond to heightened cocaine trafficking risks and the need to maintain border integrity. And that's going to be incredibly important, as this is a reputational security issue just as much as it's a crime story. We here inside Lead Story have spoken about the incredible finds that have been done over the past few weeks, showing up what it is that's going on as people attempt to bring illicit goods across the border. But this new customs border measure that they've put up now means an earlier detection of illicit goods, possible processing changes for travelers, and also risk-based targeting that now continues to be in place. But Jamaica's border integrity affects other things as well. Tourism confidence. It affects trade, credibility, and external scrutiny, including how foreign partners assess interdiction capacity. And they're looking what is going on here inside Jamaica, seeing what it is that we are doing and seeing how seriously we are taking protecting our borders. Now, for many people, they're watching something like this and they're seeing it as a customs clampdown. But it's also Jamaica making sure that we do our part to protect not only our nation's borders, but also to protect us from those who are hoping to get illicit drugs and other goods into the country. And it is going to be incredibly important as we watch these sorts of developments to make sure that we keep you up to date. Now, the Gleaner has reported that there will be expanded border protection plan details that will come into the public domain over the next few weeks. And there was a precursor report that indicated that there would be some sorts of changes, but we're finally seeing Jamaica Customs putting those in place, an important part of our border safety and security mechanisms. They're moving upstream. They're scanning before baggage claim, signaling a harder perimeter at a time of escalating cocaine interceptions. And that's going to be very important for many people watching what's going on here. Now, we should have had in this segment criminologist Dr. Jason Mackay joining us inside Lead's story. It seems that something is going on that's detaining him from being on with us as we explore what's going on there at our Customs and Border Patrol and why it's so important for Jamaica to put these things in place. Will it impact you? Only if you're a bad guy. Only if you're somebody who is bringing things that you shouldn't be. But as you see there at the Noah Manley International Airport, an airport that is making sure that at these air borders and at our physical borders, wherever they might be, Jamaicans are safe and protected has to be our priority. And this decision that has been made by Customs is one that can only come to our benefit. Now, the officials describe the approach as technology plus intelligence plus risk-based targeting. And they're indicating to us that it's intended to strengthen border security while supporting smoother passenger flow. I don't know just how smooth this will be just yet. Remember, Jamaicans are not accustomed to this system, and it might also be important for us to figure out how we're going to operationalize all of this. But I trust Customs, and having seen Customs work alongside the counterterrorism and organized crime unit of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, working alongside the Firearms and Narcotics Investigations Division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. It is important for us to therefore give them our full support because they're using all of these tools that they have for our benefit. And for those who are watching, trying to figure out what it means for you, the processing time is going to be something we're going to be looking at, as well as compliance expectations. You have red line and green line, red channel and green channel. If you're going through our airports to declare or not declare things that you have there with us. And so we'll therefore have greater confidence that things that pass through our borders are safe. All right, we'll pull back this segment another time, making sure that you can understand what has taken place there as Jamaica Customs has made this change, clamping down on what's going on at our borders. Well, let's give you a wrap-up, a summary of what happened tonight, because tonight's broadcast reveals a nation grappling with the delicate balance between macro progress and micro reality. We celebrate a 25-year low in national homicide statistics, yet we must acknowledge that the statistical success feels empty to any mother in Manchester grieving a sudden loss of their child this evening. Data provides the map, but is not the journey. In our hospitals, though, we see the system finally acknowledging the essential role of parental presence in pediatric care, a recognition that health is not merely the absence of disease, but the presence of support. Meanwhile, at our borders, the increased vigilance of Customs reminds us that in an interconnected global economy, our security is only as strong as our gates. Now, from the cold fronts descending from the north to the policy shifts within our own institutions, the underlying theme is one of adaptation. We are refining our laws, our borders, and our expectations of care. Progress, therefore, is never a straight line. It's a series of constant recalibrations to ensure that the calm we seek is not just a statistical anomaly, but a sustainable reality. That is the story. Also want to let you know about something exciting going on. The Sunshine Girls are at it again. This time they're taking on world number 1 Australia in a 3-match international test series starting this Thursday. And guess what? You can catch every pass, every goal, every steal, live, delayed, and in rebroadcast right here on CVMTV. Match 1 is this Thursday, February 5, live early in the morning at 3:30 a.m. Match 2, Sunday, February 8 at 12:30 p.m. And Match 3, Wednesday, February 11, live at 3:30 a.m. If you missed it live, well, you can catch it on the delayed broadcast of all rematches, or rather of all matches, at 8 p.m. with a rebroadcast the following day at 9 a.m. When the Sunshine Girls play, we must watch. So see it happen on CVMTV. I'm Jodi-Ann and on behalf of the entire CVM production team, thank you for watching Lead Story. Have a fantastic evening, and I hope you stay safe. Next up, CVM News.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVMTV.
So much more than entertainment.
Tonight, on Small Biz Big Dreams, we meet Deli, a barber who provides sharp fades that enlighten dark days. This is Small Biz Big Dreams. For the past 15 years, Delroy Deli's Cut has been operating out of Little Premier Plaza in Halfway Tree, offering haircuts to a steady stream of workers